Fast, Feast, Repeat, by Gin Stephens. Imagine, for a moment, being trapped on a roller coaster. Not one of those fun, thrilling ones you ride at an amusement park for a few minutes. No, this is different. This roller coaster lasts for years, maybe even decades. It climbs slowly, painstakingly, towards a goal, only to plummet back down, leaving you feeling heavier, more frustrated, and more hopeless than when you started. That, my young friend, is the experience millions of people have with dieting. It's a cycle of restriction, temporary success, and inevitable rebound that chips away at our confidence and, perhaps surprisingly, even our health. I remember a time when someone very dedicated, someone just like you perhaps, found themselves weighing over 200 pounds. This wasn't from a lack of trying. Quite the opposite. They had meticulously counted calories, slashed fat grams, banished carbs, tried shakes, pills, even hormone injections. Every popular diet trend, every miracle promised in magazines, they'd been there, done that, and the scale just kept climbing higher. It felt like fighting a losing battle against their own body. Does any of that sound familiar? The constant struggle. The feeling that maybe, just maybe, you're the problem? Well, today we're diving into a book that offers not just a different path, but a liberation from that entire exhausting cycle. It's called Fast, Feast, Repeat, by Gin Stephens, and it's become a guiding light for hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, seeking freedom from the diet roller coaster. Gin Stephens isn't a doctor or a nutritionist in the traditional sense. She describes herself, first and foremost, as a teacher, someone who spent nearly 3 decades helping young minds understand complex ideas. And perhaps that's her superpower. After her own long battle, losing over 80 pounds and keeping it off for years, she dedicated herself to understanding why intermittent fasting worked when everything else failed. She dove into the science, connected with real people living this lifestyle, and distilled it all into a clear, compassionate guide. This isn't just another diet book, it's a comprehensive guide to understanding your body's natural rhythms. By the end of our chat today, you'll understand why the relentless cycle of dieting so often fails us, how your body already possesses an incredible fat-burning superpower just waiting to be switched on, and why a simple shift in when you eat, rather than just what you eat, might hold the key to lifelong health and effortless weight management. This is about reclaiming your power, trusting your body, and finding a sustainable path that feels like freedom, not restriction. Are you ready to step off the roller coaster? Let's begin. Host. So, why do diets fail most people in the long run? We hear statistics, maybe that 95% of people regain the weight they lose, and while the exact number might be debated, the multi-billion-dollar weight loss industry certainly suggests we haven't found a permanent fix. We try so hard, we follow the rules, we white-knuckle through the cravings, and yet, the weight creeps back, sometimes bringing friends. Gin Stephens wants us to understand, right from the start, you did not fail the diets. The diets failed you. It's not about willpower, or lack thereof. It's about biology. Think about our ancestors. For thousands of years, human survival depended on our bodies being incredibly efficient at storing energy as fat during times of plenty and using that stored energy during times of scarcity. Wars, droughts, long winters, our bodies developed intricate mechanisms to protect us, to keep us alive when food wasn't readily available. Now, fast forward to today. Food is everywhere, all the time. Snacks in the office, fast food on every corner, pantries overflowing. Our bodies haven't quite caught up to this constant abundance. When we drastically cut calories, our body doesn't understand we're trying to fit into last year's jeans. It perceives a threat, a famine, and it fights back. How? Well, scientists started figuring this out decades ago. During World War II, a researcher named Ansel Keys conducted what's now known as the Minnesota Starvation Experiment. He wanted to understand how to best help people recover from severe deprivation. Healthy young men volunteered. For 6 months, their calorie intake was significantly reduced, though, interestingly, they were still eating around 1,800 calories a day on average, often more than many crash diets allow today. They also had to walk 22 miles a week. What happened? Predictably, they lost weight, but they also became obsessed with food, collecting recipes, dreaming about meals. They grew irritable, tired, intolerant of cold. Their bodies adapted to the perceived famine by slowing down their metabolism, the rate at which they burned energy. They lost not just fat, but precious muscle too. And when the starvation period ended and food was reintroduced, their hunger signals went haywire. Their bodies desperately tried to recover the lost weight, ramping up the drive to eat. Some men couldn't stop eating, even binging to the point of needing medical help. Does that intense rebound hunger after a strict diet sound familiar? Again, it wasn't weakness. It was biology screaming, "Eat now." Crucially, the men whose food intake remained restricted after the main experiment saw their metabolic rates stay low. But those allowed to eat freely saw their metabolisms recover. This gives us hope. Metabolic slowdown isn't necessarily permanent. More recently, researchers looked at contestants from the reality show The Biggest Loser 6 years after the competition. These individuals had lost massive amounts of weight through extreme calorie restriction and intense exercise. The study found that years later, their metabolisms were significantly slower than expected for their new body size and age, by about 500 calories per day on average. Their bodies had adapted to the extreme measures, and this metabolic adaptation persisted, making weight regain incredibly difficult. In fact, those who managed to keep more weight off actually had the greatest metabolic slowdown. Why? Likely because they had to continue restricting more and more aggressively just to maintain their losses. It confirms the sad truth. The harder you fight your biology with constant restriction, the harder your biology fights back. So, let's break down what happens biologically when we lose weight through traditional dieting. 1. Ghrelin, the hunger hormone, goes up. Your body increases your drive to eat. That feeling of being unable to stop eating chips? That's ghrelin talking too. Leptin, the satiety or fullness hormone, goes down. You eat, but you don't feel satisfied. You keep going until you're uncomfortably full because the stop signal is weak. 3. Your metabolic rate slows down, sometimes significantly more than expected just from being smaller. Your body tries to conserve energy because it thinks you're starving. That feeling of having no energy to go to the gym? Partly metabolic adaptation. Hunger up, fullness down, energy expenditure down. It's a trifecta perfectly designed by nature to make you regain the weight. It protected our ancestors, but it sabotages our modern dieting efforts. So, the crucial question becomes, how do we lose excess fat without triggering this intense biological backlash? How do we work with our bodies, instead of against them? This is where intermittent fasting enters the picture, and why Gin Stephens calls it fundamentally different. It's not just another way to eat less. It introduces a different signal to your body, the signal of the fast. Think of your body like a hybrid car. It has two main fuel sources: glucose, sugar from the food you eat, especially carbohydrates, which gets stored short-term in your liver and muscles as glycogen, and fat, stored more long-term all over your body. When you eat, especially carbs or protein, your pancreas releases a hormone called insulin. Insulin is like a key. It unlocks your cells to let glucose in for immediate energy. It also tells your liver and muscles to store extra glucose as glycogen for later. And once those glycogen stores are full, insulin helps convert any leftover excess energy into fat for long-term storage. Insulin is essentially a storage hormone. It's vital for survival. Without it, like in type 1 diabetes, people waste away because their cells can't access or store energy properly. Now, here's the critical part. When insulin levels are high, fat burning is largely switched off. Insulin's job is to store energy, not release it. The scientific term is anti-lipolytic, literally, against fat breakdown. So, if you're eating or snacking frequently throughout the day, especially processed foods or sugary drinks, your insulin levels stay elevated. Your body remains primarily in fat storage mode, making it very difficult to access the fat you already have stored. This state of chronically high insulin is called hyperinsulinemia. And it's linked not only to weight gain and obesity but also to many modern health problems like type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, heart disease, and even some cancers. What happens when you stop eating for a while? When you fast? After a few hours, the glucose from your last meal is used up. Insulin levels start to fall. As blood glucose drops, your pancreas releases a different hormone called glucagon. Glucagon is like the opposite signal to insulin. It tells your liver to release some of that stored glycogen back into the bloodstream as glucose to keep your energy levels stable, especially for your brain. Your liver's glycogen stores are limited, maybe holding only about 300 to 400 calories worth. As those stores get depleted, which might take anywhere from 12 to 36 hours, depending on various factors, and with insulin levels now nice and low, your body realizes it needs another fuel source. And this, my friend, is where the magic happens. Low insulin finally unlocks your fat stores. Your body starts breaking down stored fat lipolysis and converting it into energy. A byproduct of this fat-burning process is the creation of ketones. Ketones are a fantastic alternative fuel source, especially for your brain, which loves them. This transition from using primarily glucose to using primarily fat and ketones is what Gin Stephens, drawing from scientific literature, calls flipping the metabolic switch. Intermittent fasting is the most effective, natural way to lower insulin and encourage your body to flip this switch regularly. Now, remember the problem with traditional low-calorie diets? They often lead to metabolic slowdown because the body, perceiving starvation and having limited access to fat stores due to frequent small meals keeping insulin somewhat elevated, tries to conserve energy. Another fantastic benefit happens during the fast, an increase in human growth hormone HGH. HGH levels naturally decline as we age, but fasting has been shown to give them a significant boost. Why is this important? HGH helps preserve, and even build, lean muscle mass. It also plays roles in bone density and healing. This is key. When people lose weight on traditional diets, they often lose a significant amount of muscle along with fat, which contributes to metabolic slowdown. But with intermittent fasting, the combination of low insulin allowing fat access, ketone production providing fuel, and elevated HGH promoting muscle preservation seems to help us preferentially burn fat while holding on to, or even gaining, muscle. This leads to what's called body recomposition, losing fat and gaining muscle simultaneously. It means you might see your clothes getting looser even if the number on the scale isn't dropping rapidly, because muscle is denser and takes up less space than fat. So, intermittent fasting isn't just about calories, it's about hormonal signaling. It lowers insulin, allowing fat burning. It encourages the metabolic switch to ketones. It boosts HGH, protecting muscle. It helps your body tap into its own fuel reserves effectively, potentially without the dramatic metabolic slowdown seen in chronic dieting. That's the superpower Gin Stephens is talking about. But the benefits don't stop there. Many people, Gin included, come to intermittent fasting for weight loss but stay for the profound improvements in their overall health. Remember that Nobel Prize awarded in 2016 to Yoshinori Ozumi? It was for his discoveries about autophagy. Autophagy literally means self-eating. Think of it as your body's internal recycling and cleanup crew. When your cells are under stress, like during fasting when external nutrients aren't coming in, autophagy ramps up. The cell starts identifying old, damaged, or malfunctioning parts like worn-out proteins or damaged organelles and breaks them down. The resulting raw materials are then reused for energy or to build new, healthy cellular components. It's cellular spring cleaning. Why is this important? This cleanup process is crucial for maintaining healthy cells and tissues. When autophagy doesn't function properly, cellular junk can accumulate, which is linked to aging and various diseases, including neurodegenerative disorders, metabolic syndrome, liver disease, and even cancer. Fasting is one of the most potent ways to stimulate autophagy. When your body isn't busy digesting incoming food, it has the time and the signal to focus on this internal housekeeping. There's debate about exactly when autophagy significantly increases during a fast. Some suggest it takes 24 to 36 hours or more, while others believe benefits start sooner, possibly linked to when ketosis kicks in. Jin Stevens argues that since autophagy is related to the body needing to scrounge around for fuel and building blocks similar to ketosis, once you become metabolically flexible and deplete glycogen stores more quickly during your daily fast, you likely experience increased autophagy regularly, even without doing very long fasts. While longer fasts might induce deeper autophagy, the daily practice likely keeps the process active. Some fasters even report anecdotal evidence like loose skin tightening over time, which Dr. Jason Fung theorizes could be autophagy breaking down and recycling the excess tissue. Beyond autophagy, fasting impacts health in numerous ways, often linked back to lowered insulin and reduced inflammation. Insulin sensitivity. Fasting helps combat hyperinsulinemia and improves insulin sensitivity, which is crucial for preventing and managing conditions like metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes. Some studies and clinical practices even show potential for reversing type 2 diabetes, especially in its early stages. Inflammation. Chronic inflammation is a root cause of many modern diseases. Fasting has been shown to lower inflammatory markers. The ketone body BHB, produced during fasting, seems to play a direct role in reducing inflammation. Many fasters report relief from inflammatory conditions like seasonal allergies or asthma symptoms over time. Autoimmune conditions. Since many autoimmune diseases are linked to inflammation, fasting shows promise in helping manage symptoms of conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, and multiple sclerosis, though more research is needed. Heart health. Fasting is linked to improved cardiovascular markers, including reduced blood pressure, lower resting heart rate, and potentially a lower risk of coronary artery disease. Increased adiponectin, a cardioprotective compound, might be involved. Brain health. This is a truly exciting area. Fasting seems to boost brain health by increasing brain-derived neurotrophic factor BDNF, which supports neuron growth and connection. It improves neural connections, potentially protects against amyloid plaques linked to Alzheimer's, and enhances the brain's resistance to injury and neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Many fasters report improved mental clarity and focus during the fast. Gut health. Our gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living in our intestines, plays a huge role in immunity and metabolism. Fasting seems to positively influence the gut microbiome, potentially increasing diversity and shifting the balance towards bacteria associated with leanness. Cancer. While much research is still in early stages, fasting shows potential in both cancer prevention in animal models and as an adjunct to chemotherapy. Fasting seems to make cancer cells more vulnerable while protecting normal cells during treatment. Longevity. Emerging research suggests fasting might tap into pathways linked to a longer, healthier lifespan. Studies, including one on humans fasting for 58 hours, show increases in beneficial metabolites associated with muscle maintenance, antioxidant activity, and cellular repair processes like autophagy and enhanced mitochondrial function. Animal studies also link intermittent fasting patterns to improved health and longevity, seemingly independent of calorie reduction. Fasting might help keep our cells, blood vessels, and even intestinal lining younger. It's an impressive list, isn't it? This is why Jin Stevens calls intermittent fasting the health plan with a side effect of weight loss. You might start for the scale, but you'll likely discover benefits far beyond that. Now, if you're feeling excited about harnessing these benefits, there's one concept Jin Stevens emphasizes above all others. It's the cornerstone of her approach, the non-negotiable element that she believes unlocks the true magic of intermittent fasting. It's called the clean fast. What is the clean fast? Put simply, it means consuming only things during your fasting period that do not elicit a significant metabolic or hormonal response, particularly an insulin response. Remember insulin, the storage hormone that shuts down fat burning? The primary goal of the clean fast is to keep insulin levels as low as possible during the fast to maximize fat burning, autophagy, and the other health benefits. Jin argues passionately, based on her understanding of the science and the experiences of countless fasters, that many common practices thought to be okay during a fast actually interfere with these goals. She proposes three main goals for the clean fast. 1. Keep insulin low. 2. Tap into your own fat stores for fuel. 3. Keep autophagy going strong. How do we achieve these? By avoiding specific triggers during the fast. Goal 1. Keep insulin low. Avoid anything that tastes sweet or food-like. This is perhaps the most crucial and often debated point. Even zero-calorie sweeteners like stevia, aspartame, sucralose, or food-like flavors, fruit essences, broth flavor, even some natural flavors added to sparkling water or coffee can trigger what's called the cephalic phase insulin release (CPR). Just the taste of sweetness or something your brain recognizes as food sends a signal. Prepare for incoming energy. Your body releases a small burst of insulin in anticipation, even if no calories arrive. Studies have shown this insulin release can happen within minutes of tasting sweetness, even if you just swish and spit. While a brief taste like brushing teeth might cause a transient insulin blip that quickly returns to baseline, constantly sipping on diet soda, flavored water, or sweetened coffee throughout the fast keeps triggering these insulin spikes, however small. This interferes with keeping insulin consistently low and hinders the transition into deep fat burning. Jin emphasizes that some studies show conflicting results on CPR with artificial sweeteners, but her stance is, why risk it? If the goal is maximal benefit, err on the side of caution and avoid anything sweet or food-flavored. Bitter flavors, like plain black coffee or plain tea, generally don't trigger this response. Goal 2. Burn your own fat. Avoid external fuel sources. This means avoiding things like adding fat butter, MCT oil, coconut oil, heavy cream to your coffee. While fat itself causes minimal insulin release compared to carbs or protein, consuming significant fat calories gives your body an easy, external fuel source. Why would it bother tapping into your stored body fat if it's getting readily available energy from your coffee cup? Similarly, taking exogenous external ketone supplements gives your body ketones without it having to make them from your own fat. The goal isn't just having ketones, it's the process of your body producing them from stored fat that signifies you've flipped the metabolic switch. Providing external fuel short-circuits this process. Goal 3. Maximize autophagy. Avoid proteins. Autophagy involves breaking down and recycling old cellular proteins. Taking in external protein like from bone broth, collagen supplements, or branched-chain amino acids, BCAAs signals to your body that building blocks are available from the outside, potentially dampening the signal for internal recycling. Studies suggest amino acids like leucine can decrease autophagy markers and also increase insulin. So, what is allowed during the clean fast? The list is elegantly simple. Plain water. Still, sparkling. Mineral, as long as it's unflavored. No lemon slices, fruit infusions, or flavor enhancers. Gin even suggests trying plain hot water, affectionately called empty. Get it? Plain black coffee. Unflavored beans only. The bitterness is key. It doesn't typically trigger insulin. Coffee might even have benefits for autophagy and fat burning. Can't stand it black? Gin's advice is tough love. Give your taste buds time to adjust, maybe weeks. Try a tiny pinch of salt to cut bitterness or dilute it initially. Many find they acquire the taste and even come to appreciate other bitter foods afterward. If you truly hate it, just skip coffee altogether. It's not required. Absolutely no creamers, milks, dairy or plant-based, sweeteners, butter, or oils. Plain tea. Brewed from actual tea leaves black, green, white, oolong, pu'er. Unflavored varieties only. Check ingredients to ensure only tea is listed. Avoid fruity, sweet, or dessert-flavored herbal teas during the fast, as these signal food to the brain. Matcha is also generally avoided as you consume the leaf powder itself. Some strictly bitter herbal teas might be okay. This falls into a gray area to test after you're adapted, but it's safest to stick to true teas initially. Unflavored electrolytes/minerals/salt. These don't break the fast and can be helpful, especially if you're drinking a lot of water or fasting longer. Ensure they contain no sweeteners, flavors, or other additives. That's essentially it. Anything else falls into the no category: sweeteners, flavors, fats, proteins, food, diet sodas, gum, mints, broth, etc., Or a small gray area like peppermint oil for breath, bitter herbals, maybe some vitamins? Best taken in the window anyway. Jin's rule of thumb: when in doubt, leave it out. Why be so strict? Jin shares her own story. She initially fasted using stevia in her coffee and struggled with hunger and stalled progress. Once she committed to a truly clean fast, eliminating all sweet and food-like tastes, she found fasting became dramatically easier, hunger decreased, and her weight loss resumed, even leading her to lose 2 more sizes after she thought she was at her goal. Countless testimonials from other fasters echo this experience. The clean fast makes the process smoother, reduces hunger and cravings, and seems to unlock better results. If you're skeptical, Jin proposes the Clean Fast Challenge. Commit to 6 to 8 weeks of strictly clean fasting, then try reintroducing whatever you missed and notice how your body feels. Many find they feel hungrier, shakier, or simply less energetic, confirming the impact of those seemingly minor additions. The clean fast isn't about arbitrary rules. It's about maximizing the physiological benefits of the fasted state by keeping insulin low and allowing your body to efficiently switch to burning its own fat and engaging in cellular cleanup. It protects the magic happening during the fast. Okay, so you understand the why and how of the clean fast. Now, how do you structure your fasting and eating periods? There are 2 main approaches Jin Stevens outlines, plus ways to combine them. 1. Time-restricted eating (TRE) or the eating window approach. This is arguably the most popular method. It's simple. You designate a specific number of hours each day during which you eat your eating window and fast cleanly for the remaining hours. There's nothing to count but time. The timing is expressed as 2 numbers: fasting hours, eating window hours, adding up to 24. 16 to 8. Fast for 16 hours, eat within an 8-hour window. This often means skipping breakfast and eating lunch and dinner. Jin notes this is popular but might not provide enough fasting time for significant fat burning for everyone, as the sweet spot might be longer. It can be great for maintenance or for those prioritizing health benefits over rapid weight loss. 19 to 5. Fast for 19 hours, eat within a 5-hour window. This allows more time in the potential fat-burning zone hours 18 to 24. This was Jin's personal sweet spot for weight loss. 20 to 4. Fast for 20 hours, eat within a 4-hour window. Even more time potentially spent burning fat. 23 to 1. Fast for 23 hours, eat within a 1-hour window. Very compressed eating time. Jin cautions that doing this consistently every day might lead to metabolic adaptation for some, suggesting variation is often beneficial. OMAD 1 meal a day. This is more of a concept than a strict hour count. It means consuming your day's food around 1 main meal, but the window might still be several hours long. Jin considers herself an OMADer, often eating over a 2 to 5 hour period fitting between 22 to 2 and 19 to 5, perhaps starting with an appetizer, having her main meal later, and finishing with something small. Research studies defining OMAD have used windows up to 4 hours. OMAD offers simplicity and a long daily fast. There are infinite variations: 18 to 6, 22 to 2, etc. The key is finding what works for you. Should the window be early or late? While some research hints at potential benefits for early TRE, long-term comparative studies are lacking. Jin's informal survey showed most fasters prefer evening windows, followed by midday, with only a few preferring morning. The best window is the one you can stick with consistently and that fits your lifestyle and makes you feel good. 2. Alternate day fasting (ADF) or the up and down day approach. This involves alternating days of normal eating up days with days of significantly reduced intake down days. Popularized by Dr. Michael Mosley's 5 to 2 diet: 5 up days, 2 down days per week. Variations include 4 to 3, 4 up, 3 down, 6 to 1, or true ADF alternating up and down daily. There are 2 main ways to structure the down days. Option 1. Modified fast, for example, 500 calories. Eat 1 small meal of around 500 calories on the down day, fasting cleanly before and after. Pro: you eat every day. Con: some find limiting to 500 calories harder than not eating at all. Less time fully fasted. Option 2. Full fast approximately 36 to 42 hours. Eat normally on your up day. Finish dinner. Fast cleanly through the entire next day down day. Go to bed without eating, and break your fast the following morning the next up day. This gives a longer continuous fasting period. Pro: more time fasted. Potentially greater benefits like autophagy. Some find it psychologically simpler than restricting. Con: can be harder psychologically initially. Some experience sleep disruption due to increased energy. Crucially important for ADF approaches, the up days are just as vital as the down days. On the day after a down day, you must eat normally, without restriction or trying to maintain a short eating window. Have at least 2 to 3 meals over a decent window 6 to 8 hours or more. Why? This variability, the feast after the famine, signals to your body that you're not starving. This overfeeding can actually help keep your metabolism responsive. Restricting on up days defeats this purpose and risks metabolic slowdown. Never schedule 2 down days in a row. Who might benefit most from ADF? Gin suggests it can be particularly helpful for those with significant insulin resistance, metabolic slowdown from past dieting, or those who have plateaued with TRE. The longer fasting periods and metabolic boost from up days can be powerful. 3. The intermittent fasting toolbox and hybrid approaches. You don't have to pick just one method. Think of TRE and ADF variations as tools in your toolbox. The key to long-term success and avoiding adaptation is switching things up. Your body adapts to consistency. By varying your fasting lengths or incorporating different approaches, you keep your body guessing, which may prevent plateaus and metabolic slowdown. Examples: alternate window lengths. Mix shorter window days like 23 to 1 or 20 to 4 with longer window days like 18 to 6 or 16 to 8 throughout the week. Hybrid. Combine elements. Maybe do 5 days of TRE, for example, 19 to 5 and then one 36-hour fast a down day followed by an up day each week. Or follow a 5 to 2 pattern, but on the 5 up days, still maintain a moderate eating window like 18 to 6 instead of eating all day. The possibilities are endless. The goal is to create a pattern that is sustainable, effective for your goals whether weight loss or health, and feels good to you. Listen to your body. Some days you might naturally fast longer. Other days, like vacations or special occasions, you might have shorter fasts. This flexibility is what makes IF a lifestyle, not a rigid diet. So, you've chosen an approach, maybe from the Fast Start section Gin provides. This 28-day introductory period is crucial. It's not primarily about weight loss, it's about adaptation. During these first 4 weeks, your main goals are: F equals fast clean. Absolutely nail the clean fast principles from day 1. Stick to the yes list only during this time. A equals adapt. Allow your body time to physically adjust, to learn how to access fat stores efficiently. Expect some challenges like headaches, fatigue, or initial hunger as your body switches gears. This gets easier. S equals settle in. Establish a consistent daily fasting routine. Even if the window length varies slightly based on the plan you chose, Gin offers 3 paces: easy does it, steady build, rip off the band-aid. Consistency helps your body adapt faster. T equals tweak. Adjust the timing of your window day to day to see what feels best, or even switch between the fast start approaches if one feels too hard or too easy. Crucially, Gin advises not changing what you eat during the fast start unless using the low-carb ease in meals of the gentlest plan. Trying to overhaul your diet and adjust to fasting simultaneously often leads to overwhelm and burnout. Focus solely on mastering the when and the clean fast first. Also, don't expect significant weight loss during these 28 days. You might even gain a little initially due to hormonal shifts or temporary overeating in the window as your appetite adapts. This phase is about building the foundation. Take starting measurements and photos on day 0, then put the scale and tape measure away until day 29. After the fast start, you move into the phase Gin calls tweak it till it's easy. This is where you take off the training wheels. You experiment with different window lengths, timings, or even ADF approaches from your toolbox. You become your own detective, a study of one. How do you know if a tweak is working? Ask yourself, how do I feel emotionally? Does this pattern feel sustainable? peaceful, or stressful and deprivation focused? How do I feel physically? After an initial adjustment, do I have good energy and mental clarity? Or do I feel consistently drained or unwell? Am I getting the results I hoped for? This isn't just weight loss. Are health markers improving? Do clothes fit better? Are non-scale victories appearing? Better sleep, clearer skin, less pain? Use multiple tracking methods, scale trends, measurements, photos, honesty pants. If something is moving in the right direction, it's working. Give each tweak enough time, weeks, not days, to see how your body adapts. If something feels good and yields results, stick with it. If it feels difficult, drains you, or stalls progress long term, try something else. The goal is to find your rhythm, your sustainable lifestyle. Now, let's talk about the feast part of fast. Feast. Repeat. Gin Stevens' philosophy here is captured in the mantra from her first book, Delay, Don't Deny. We delay eating until our window opens. We don't deny ourselves foods we truly enjoy. This sounds like freedom, and it is, but it requires understanding the nuance. Don't deny means no food is inherently bad or forbidden forever. If you love pizza, cake, or tacos, you can incorporate them into your life. This release from diet prison, where certain foods are villains, is incredibly liberating. However, don't deny does not mean eat whatever you want, as much as you want, whenever your window is open. That interpretation often leads to frustration, stalled weight loss, or even gain. Remember, even with the metabolic benefits of IF, consistently eating far more energy than your body needs will lead to storage. The key is shifting from external rules, calorie counts, forbidden food lists, to internal cues. This involves appetite correction. Gin borrows this term from Dr. Bert Herring. It refers to the process where, through consistent intermittent fasting, our bodies gradually recalibrate their natural hunger and satiety signals governed by hormones like ghrelin and leptin, and regulated by the brain's apostat. When we eat constantly, especially processed foods, these signals can get scrambled. We might develop leptin resistance, where our brain doesn't properly register the full signal. We eat based on clocks, habits, or emotions rather than true physical hunger. Fasting gives these hormonal systems a break, allowing sensitivity to potentially reset. Over time, this takes patience, many IFers find. True hunger becomes clearer and less frequent during the fast. Satiety signals become much stronger during the eating window. You start to recognize the feeling of being pleasantly satisfied, rather than needing to be stuffed. You might even experience the satisfaction sigh or notice food losing its appeal when you've had enough. Cravings may lessen or change. You might start desiring more nutritious foods naturally. Appetite correction allows you to delay, don't deny effectively. You can enjoy treats, but you learn to stop when satisfied. You eat pizza, but maybe just a couple of slices feel like enough, rather than the whole pie. If you're struggling to hear these signals initially, Gin suggests tricks like serving smaller portions and waiting 30 minutes before deciding on seconds, or aiming for 80% full harahachi-bu. Importantly, appetite correction also means honoring increased hunger on some days. Your body knows what it needs. Does food quality matter in this equation? Absolutely. While no food is forbidden, fueling your body primarily with nutrient-dense, less processed foods supports appetite correction and overall health. Gin uses the ANOVA classification system to help distinguish between unprocessed/minimally processed foods. Group 1. Fruits, veggies, meat, eggs, processed culinary ingredients. Group 2. Oils, butter, sugar, salt, processed foods. Group 3. Simple combinations like homemade bread, canned goods, and ultra-processed foods. Group 4. Industrial formulations with long ingredient lists, little whole food, often high in fat, salt, sugar. Think packaged snacks, sugary drinks, fast food burgers, etc. Ultra-processed foods. Group 4 are problematic for several reasons. They are often hyper-palatable, designed to make you want more. They can disrupt appetite signals, making it harder to feel satisfied. Studies show people tend to eat significantly more calories when consuming ultra-processed diets compared to unprocessed diets, even when taste and macros are matched. They provide empty calories, lots of energy, few nutrients. This can leave your body feeling undernourished even when overfed, potentially driving cravings as it searches for missing nutrients. They require less energy to digest than whole foods. Your body extracts more usable calories from them with less effort. 100 calories of jelly beans isn't processed the same way as 100 calories of actual beans. The advice isn't to become obsessive or eliminate all processed foods. It's about shifting the balance. Focus on filling your plate mostly with foods from Nova Groups 1, 2, and 3. Shop the perimeter of the grocery store. Read labels and choose options with shorter, recognizable ingredient lists. When you prioritize nutrient-dense foods, you'll likely feel more satisfied with less, making appetite correction easier and supporting your health goals. Over time, many IFers find their taste change naturally. Those hyperpalatable processed foods start to taste artificial or overly sweet. The food simply has to be window-worthy. This brings us back to bio-individuality. Just as there's no one-size-fits-all fasting schedule, there's no single perfect diet. Groundbreaking research by scientists like Dr. Oron Siegel and Dr. Tim Spector shows that individuals have vastly different blood sugar, insulin, and fat responses to the exact same foods. What spikes one person's blood sugar might barely register for another. These differences are linked partly to genetics but significantly to the unique composition of each person's gut microbiome. This explains why your friend thrived on keto while you felt terrible and gained weight, or why you felt great on a low-fat plan that someone else found unsatisfying. It scientifically validates listening to your body. Reflect on your past experiences. When did you feel your best? Which eating styles seemed to work naturally for you? Gin realized low-carb never worked for her weight loss, but lower-fat approaches did. DNA analysis later suggested her genes might favor higher carbs/lower fat. Use your own experience and how you feel after eating certain foods as your primary guide. Forget the diet brain that insists one expert has the universal answer. Trust yourself. Finally, let's talk about making intermittent fasting truly sustainable. Turning it from something you do into simply how you live. This involves shifting your mindset. Jin admits that for years, despite knowing about IF, she failed because she approached it with a dieter's mindset. She saw it as temporary, expected instant results, got discouraged by fluctuations, focused on deprivation I can't eat, and inevitably fell off the wagon. The transformation happened when she shifted her perspective. Lifestyle, not diet, this is crucial. If isn't something you're on or off. There's no wagon to fall from. Some days might have shorter fasts or longer windows like vacations, birthdays. That's not failure or cheating. It's flexibility within a lifelong pattern. You simply resume your usual rhythm afterward with no guilt. This removes the all-or-nothing pressure that derails so many diets. Surveys show the vast majority of long-term IFers see it as their forever lifestyle. Focus on health and empowerment, not deprivation. Instead of thinking I can't eat now, reframe it as I choose not to eat now because I value the healing, fat burning, and mental clarity the fast provides. Embrace the fast as a time for cellular repair and rejuvenation. Remember the health and longevity benefits. You're not depriving yourself of food. You're potentially depriving yourself of future health problems. What you deserve isn't just the donut in the break room. You deserve vibrant health. Cultivate belief and optimism. Mindset matters physiologically. Studies on the placebo effect show that belief can create real biological changes. Believing IF can work for you, trusting your body's ability to adapt and heal, and maintaining an optimistic outlook can genuinely impact your success. Surround yourself with positive support. Trust the process. Exercise fits into this lifestyle framework too. Is it required for weight loss with IF? No. Is it vital for overall health, longevity, and well-being? Absolutely. The best exercise? The kind you enjoy and will do consistently. Don't feel pressured to become a marathon runner if you love walking or dancing. Can you exercise while fasted? Yes. And it can be very beneficial. Once adapted, your body becomes efficient at using stored fat for fuel during fasted workouts. You generally don't need pre-workout fuel unless perhaps for very long endurance events, Nor do you need immediate post-workout protein shakes. Studies suggest overall daily protein intake matters more than precise timing around workouts. Plus, the HGH boost from fasting already supports muscle building. Just listen to your body. Don't push too hard, especially when starting IF. And be aware that exercise, while incredibly healthy, can sometimes slow-scale weight loss due to muscle gain body recomposition, so rely on other progress measures too. What about plateaus or slow weight loss? First, ensure you're past the initial 28-day fast start adjustment period. Second, confirm progress has truly stalled using multiple metrics: scale trend, measurements, photos, clothes fit over several weeks. Slow progress like an average of a pound a week is still progress. If truly stuck, Jin offers a hierarchy of tweaks. 1. Recheck the clean fast. Are you really fasting clean? This is the most common culprit. 2. Assess food volume. Are you consistently eating past satisfaction? Revisit appetite correction strategies. 3. Improve food quality. Are ultra-processed foods dominating your window? Try delaying them and focusing on whole foods. 4. Adjust the fasting regimen. Try tightening your window, varying window lengths more, adding a weekly longer fast like 36 to 42 hours, followed by an up day, or switching to an ADF protocol 5 to 2, 4 to 3 for a while to shake things up and potentially boost metabolism. 5. Experiment with eating styles. Based on your bio-individuality, try reducing carbs or reducing fat for a period, focusing on whole food versions, and see how your body responds. 6. Change window timing. If you always eat in the evening, try midday or morning for a few weeks. 7. Delay alcohol/desserts/sugary drinks. These can stall progress for many. Give each tweak time. Be patient, and remember, some people, especially those with long diet histories, insulin resistance, or certain medical conditions/medications, may need more time for their bodies to heal and respond. If progress remains stalled after many months of consistent effort and tweaking, consider working with a knowledgeable health practitioner to investigate underlying issues: thyroid, stress, sleep, etc. Finally, maintenance. How do you know you're there? Gin suggests focusing on a goal body: how you feel, how clothes fit, rather than a specific scale number, due to body recomposition. Once you reach a place you're happy with, you might initially stick with your successful protocol, listening for increased hunger signals as your body settles. If you continue losing weight unintentionally, gradually lengthen your window slightly. Maintenance often involves more flexibility but still requires mindfulness. Use honesty pants or occasional waist measurements rather than obsessing over the scale. If things start getting snug, be honest with yourself about what might have slipped: longer windows creeping in, more treats, less attention to satiety, and gently rein it back in. Because IF protects metabolism better than dieting, maintenance tends to be far less of a struggle than in the past. It becomes truly effortless over time. And share what you're doing without fear. IF is becoming mainstream. If people question you, focus on the health benefits, the science: autophagy, insulin sensitivity, or simply share your own positive experience. You don't need to defend your choices, but sharing confidently might just inspire someone else. Host fast, feast, repeat. It sounds simple, and in many ways, it is. But the journey it describes is profound. It's about rediscovering your body's innate wisdom, healing your relationship with food, and stepping off the exhausting treadmill of modern dieting culture. Host. As we draw our exploration of fast, feast, repeat to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on the core message Gin Stephens offers us. Beyond the schedules and the science, what truly resonates is the profound sense of empowerment this lifestyle can bring. For so long, many of us have felt like passengers in our own bodies, subject to the confusing and often contradictory rules handed down by diet gurus and industry trends. We've counted, tracked, restricted, and often blamed ourselves when the results didn't last. Gin's work gently but firmly hands the reins back to us. It reminds us that our bodies possess an ancient intelligence, honed over millennia, designed for resilience and health. Intermittent fasting, particularly the clean fast approach, isn't presented as a radical new invention, but rather as a way to align with that innate intelligence. By creating regular periods without incoming food signals, we allow our hormones to rebalance, our cells to repair, and our energy systems to become flexible again. The concept of delay, don't deny, is revolutionary in its simplicity. It acknowledges our human desire for enjoyable food while providing a structure that supports health. It replaces the black and white, good food/bad food mentality of dieting with a more nuanced understanding of timing, quality, and listening to our own bodies. This shift from external rules to internal wisdom, facilitated by appetite correction, is perhaps the most sustainable path to peace with food many of us have ever encountered. What truly strikes me is the emphasis on patience and self-compassion woven throughout the book. Gin repeatedly reminds us that this is a process, not a race. The 28-day fast start isn't about instant transformation but about adaptation. Plateaus aren't failures but potential periods of healing or recalibration. Success isn't measured solely by the scale but by a constellation of health improvements, increased energy, and a growing sense of well-being. This perspective removes the pressure and allows us to embrace intermittent fasting as a long-term practice, a true lifestyle integrated into the ebb and flow of real life. So, how can you begin to weave these principles into your own life? Starting today, here are a few simple thoughts. 1. Observe your current pattern. Without judgment, just notice when you typically eat and drink things that aren't plain water. What's the time between your last bite or sip at night and your first the next morning? Understanding your starting point is the first step. 2. Experiment with a clean fast. Even briefly, try swapping your usual morning beverage if it contains milk, sugar, or flavorings for plain black coffee, plain tea, or just water for a few days. Notice how you feel. Does hunger change? Does energy shift? 3. Practice delaying just a little. If you usually snack mid-morning, try waiting an extra 30 minutes. Drink some water. Get busy with something. See if the urge passes. This builds the delay muscle gently. 4. Tune in during your next meal. Eat a little more slowly. Pay attention to the taste and texture. Notice the point where you shift from hungry to no longer hungry, or from satisfied to slightly too full. Can you identify that subtle satisfaction sigh? These aren't about implementing a full fasting schedule overnight. They're about cultivating awareness and beginning to experiment with the principles Gin Stephens lays out. The journey starts with small steps, grounded in understanding and kindness towards yourself. That was a glimpse into the world of Fast, Feast, Repeat, by Gin Stephens. We certainly touched upon the key ideas today. The pitfalls of traditional dieting, the powerful science behind intermittent fasting, the crucial role of the clean fast, the different approaches you can take, and the importance of mindset and listening to your own body. But honestly, a summary like this is just scratching the surface. The real richness lies in Gin's detailed explanations, the encouraging stories woven throughout, and the way she makes complex science feel accessible and empowering. If any part of our conversation today sparked your curiosity, if you felt a flicker of hope that maybe there is a way off the diet roller coaster, then I truly encourage you to pick up the book itself. Reading it isn't just about learning facts, it's about embarking on a journey that could genuinely shift how you relate to food, health, and your own body for years to come. You can find a link to the book in the description below. And if you found value in our discussion today, perhaps learned something new or felt inspired, do give this episode a like. It helps others discover it. More importantly, consider subscribing to Billionaire's Bookshelf. We delve into transformative books like this regularly, aiming to extract wisdom that can help us all grow and live richer lives. Join our community, and let's continue learning together. Until next time, be well.